Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of ITV Live, the DJ Sessions, where we bring to you the best DJs, producers, artists from around the world. I'm your host Darren, and right now, standing next to me in the ITV Live new and improved studios, which we're very excited to be in, is DJ Kenneth Thomas. Kenneth, how's it going this evening, man?
Good, man. Things are good. I'm happy to be back in the Pacific North. Was it
Northwest.
Northwest.
Not Maine. We got a Portland over here, but that's Portland, Oregon, not Portland, Maine.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, I've been zipping around the country the last couple of weeks, and so a little confusing, but it's great to be back here.
Well, you know, I actually have a buddy of mine that you were out there on the East Coast with, Darude, on the Groove Cruise.
Vila, yep.
Man, everyone's talking about the West Coast Groove Cruise coming up in September. Like, you got to get on this thing. It is amazing.
It's coming up, and I mean, I got to be honest, I haven't done one in 6 years. And I just, last weekend on the Groove, it was amazing. I mean, it was one of the most positive, just fun weekends of my DJ career. And even, I mean, the DJing aspect and playing music was almost like, great, I get to DJ too. But just hanging out with all the DJs, hanging out with all the people, interacting with them for 3 days, everybody had a good vibe. I mean, it was one of the most positive experiences that we've ever had.
Is that something where you go on and you play one time, or are you playing sets all throughout the weekend in different rooms around the boat? Or is that how that works?
I played the pre-party on Thursday,
okay,
and then I played 2 sets on the boat. Most guys are playing multiple sets. I did one main room set, I did a side room set, and then I did a pool party on Thursday before we left. And you got like Funk Agenda. Funk Agenda, I think, played the pre-party and 4 sets on the beach and the boat total. So you get a lot of guys there. I mean, we're playing multiple times, and it's great because everybody pretty much gets their big main set, but then you get some sort of side room set where you can experiment or play a little different, and so it's fun. It's definitely fun as a DJ and an artist to be able to spread your wings a little bit.
Absolutely. And you're playing in Seattle tonight at Contour.
Yep.
One of the longest running clubs out there on First Ave. Can't miss it in Pioneer Square. I mean, in the summertime, one of the cool things about this club, the doors open up, and you're just right out there on the city street, and the music's just going for blocks on end.
Wow, we'll have to look to come back in the summer then.
Yeah, it's an awesome club to be there. The guys who are throwing out tonight are coming by. But what do you like most about Seattle?
I just like this part of the country. I've had a chance to drive all the way from San Francisco through Portland, through Seattle, up to Vancouver a couple times, actually on tour with Oakenfold on the tour bus. And I got to say that in the summertime, it's the most beautiful part of the country. I mean, those drives I still remember vividly, and I love the energy out here. I just walked a couple blocks to get a Starbucks around my hotel, and just the energy in the city. It's kind of an independent, kind of a gritty feel like Detroit, but almost like a little bit more organic and a little bit more artistic, just in the streets. It's just a great energy. I love this part of the country in Seattle.
And you only found one Starbucks. You didn't find 4 of them on the way doing it?
Actually, the Starbucks that was in the lobby of the building across the street from my hotel was closed.
Okay.
And I was like, I asked the guys there, I was like, where's the next, where's the closest Starbucks? Is there one in walking distance? They go, yeah, walk up those stairs about 40 feet and you find one. And sure enough, up the stairs around the corner, it was a Starbucks that was open.
Literally, you can stand on any street corner, throw a rock, and hit 3 or 4 of them in this town.
Anybody who knows me knows that Starbucks is like my blood, so I need it. And not just coffee, but Starbucks.
The headquarters is just right down the street from us.
We might have to make a pilgrimage there sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, getting into a little bit more in about you, and rather than Seattle, but every artist has their own unique sound. And how would you describe your style?
It's definitely doesn't fit into one genre. I do consider everything, especially my sets, are melodic. There's always an emotional journey throughout my sets, and you can find that distinct, traveling from point A to point B, and a lot of ups and downs in between, with hints of tech house, hints of trance, hints of progressive, and hints of house. I mean, it really finds this melding pot of melodic, emotional music.
Nice. And you have a label and called I Am Phoenix?
Yeah, it's I Am Phoenix.
Okay.
The branding is spelled all one word. Okay. And it's launching actually 3 weeks from Monday.
Okay.
So with our first release, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm partnering up with the guys at Alter Ego Records, which actually put out my first big hit, Ghost in the Machine, back in 2006. So it's great to kind of come back home with them and partner up with them. They're going to be managing the office end of the label. And we're kicking off with one of my own singles. It's called These Chords. I'll play it here in a few minutes with remixes from a great new talent from L.A., Mark Keogh, and then a big room progressive house mix from Jake Shanahan, who's just been on fire lately. So I'm really excited about the launch, really excited about the label. A lot of great melodic records coming.
All right, on. And you could say that you're sort of Paul Oakenfold's protege. Number of years spinning with him on tour with him, doing all that stuff. How does it feel to stand in such high regard of a legend of a guy like Paul, who's been around for so many years? I mean, you've been around for. It almost seems like yesterday I was interviewing on the couch with him in 2006.
Yeah,
7 years ago.
We watched that interview from that first. I think that was the first big bus tour I did with Oakenfold back in 2006, and I got the long hair kicking, and it was just funny. We were laughing at it the other day when we were rehashing and checking out the site and checking out the old interviews. But it's great to be able to work under somebody who's had so much success, and somebody who, his core sound is very close to what my core sound is: the melodic, the lush, the emotional, trance infused, but on a housey kind of vibe sound. And to be able to work with him professionally and pick his brain, and artistically also just, have him in my corner, point me in the right direction and giving me advice has been absolutely, priceless.
Awesome. And you were here a little bit earlier before you got in, or you got in the studio a little bit earlier. You saw our guy Will from Area 303 playing around. You saw
America.
Well, America.
I check out the Facebook page. I check
nice.
All the drama and all the. This guy, he likes to start drama. It's like he's like, let's fight. Let's see, Guetta or Zed. Avicii or Madonna. Which one?
He does, man. He's out there just killing it. But you saw the gear that he has, and would you consider yourself a gearhead? And is there any equipment out there that's caught your attention that you're really interested in? Maybe do you play with anything back at home and
my
hobbyist
computer.
type stuff? Oh, okay.
My computer. I'm not a gearhead. I came up just past the whole analog gear phase, so I just never clicked. I mean, for me, I produced all my early stuff on a computer and a MIDI keyboard and plugins. So that's just where my head's at. But it's awesome to see people still utilizing the old 303s and the Rolands, and doing that sound and having that organic, very techno-infused sound. It's great. The one piece of gear that I do really like that is an outboard piece is the Access Virus. That's a great synth that you really can't synthesize. I mean, Silent has come close to replicating a lot of the sounds, but still you can't get that warmth and that just warm, trancey, synthy warmth that you get from the Access Virus. So. And
I do see you're using. I mean, you're not deck. Doesn't look like you're on the decks.
No, I flipped. I
flipped. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you're using over there.
I'm using the Tractor setup. I got the X1 and Tractor. I think 2.6 is what I'm on, and I flipped to them about 10 months ago from CDs. I played CDs straight for 6 or 7 years, and it just was time to make a change. I'm doing so many custom edits every single weekend. I play a show, and then I go home and I re-edit all the tracks I played and make it so they fit better in my set. So it just made more sense. It just was taking up so much time to burn CDs, and I was forgetting to burn CDs, and I'm kicking myself. And now on the computer, I can just load stuff up. I can play stuff on the fly. When you guys were playing, I was bouncing a brand new edit over at the table.
I saw that.
It's a mashup I did with Mark Keogh of Audi and Wayfarer that I'll play later today. And it's just so accessible. And the looping effects and the other effects. I fell in love with Tractor like the second I got into it.
And speaking of playing other places, the convenience of playing other places, where's the oddest place or venue you've ever played? Like, have you ever had to be blindfolded to go into a place, like eyes wide shut, and say, play this set, but don't look in this direction?
I've had some pretty wild experiences. I could probably dig through, but you reminded me of one by tying in a mutual friend of ours that's a very interesting situation, Darude.
Uh-huh.
And, he'll laugh at this. We actually, a lot of people know us. Before I toured and signed with Perfecto and toured with Oakenfold, I actually toured back in 2004 with Darude. I did a handful of tour dates, and we met at a gig in Flint, Michigan. It's about 2 hours north of Detroit, and it was I was booked to open for him. I didn't know him. I was just booked by the local promoter, and the gig was in the bar attached to a bowling alley. So, Vilas laughs to this day saying, him and his manager, when they did sound check and they saw they were basically playing a bowling alley, they expected to come in and hear, hip hop or rave style or hard style or some sort of, crazy opening DJ. And when they walked in and I was playing like warm, lush, progressive trance at like 127 BPM, it was funny because Vila he walked right up in the booth, kind of gave me a strange look, and then went straight to my record box. At the time, I was still playing records. It just starts thumbing through my records, and I'm just looking, I'm like, all right, cool, help yourself, all right, but they were really impressed with the set, and we hit it off. Even though the gig was really weird and really awkward, it's one of those gigs that changed my life, because to this day, Vila is one of my best friends in the industry. Mm-hmm. We keep in touch constantly. We play gigs a couple times a year, and we network just nonstop. I mean, I would say he is one of my top friends in the industry. So it's crazy how big things can come out of small situations and weird situations.
Yeah, and speaking of talent in the scene, if you could pick anyone new, let's say from 2012, maybe 2013, because we're a month into this year, who would that be? And if you could pick one person that you're like, okay, this cat's going to go far, or you see anyone out there that you're really cheering on out there from 2012, 2013?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't have any tracks out yet, but a guy that's working with me on my label, and we've got a couple collaborations coming together, is this guy from LA, Mark Keogh. Okay. And he's got a really warm, chunky trance sound that I think that he's still fine-tuning his engineering and kind of still getting fully comfortable. I mean, he's done one track, and he put it out for free, and that's how I found him. I mean, it was amazing for his first record. It was called Forward Momentum, and I told him to take it off SoundCloud. We're going to remaster, re-engineer it, and re-release it on my label. So He's somebody who I think has a lot of potential. I think you're going to start seeing him on some of the other big trance labels over the next year to 18 months.
Nice. And you're talking about remixing tracks. You're talking about making sets, playing sets on boats, doing everything. What's the longest set you've ever played? Have you ever done one of those knockout 8 hour, 12 hour drag out 20 bar sessions?
I did play 8 to 10 hours, and actually, long story short, I was playing for my life in Mexico City back in 2007. I was opening for Oakenfold. We were on tour. I played a 2-hour set from 12 to 2. And he was supposed to go on at 2, and actually he was sick, and he passed out in VIP. We just had an intense tour schedule, and I wound up having to cover, but it's Mexico City, and it's a Sunday, and man, the place they literally rioted out front, and the security left the venue. It was crazy. So basically they said, you have to keep playing, or if you try to leave, they will probably attack you. They'll probably kill you. So
I'd call that one of the oddest places or venue you've ever done.
You know what? And that was the other story. So yeah, I mean that's I wound up playing.
You can't leave or you're dead.
That was pretty much it. So
wow.
I played till about 7:30 in the morning, and it was funny because this one guy was in the front. I mean, again, the open. Let me put it this way: the local opener who played before me came in the booth when he found out Oakenfold wasn't going on before the crowd did, and he's grabbing his stuff, and he was supposed to play after Paul, and he's grabbing his stuff. He's like, I'm out of here, man. You don't understand. These are this is a Sunday night party. This is like a rave party. These are the drug dealers and the hookers and the tough crowd in Mexico City. They're not going to be happy when they find out I'm out, dude. And so when the locals are abandoning the venue, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So I when they announced that Oki's not going on, I'm standing there, and there's this dude. I'm starting to play, and there's this dude in the crowd, this mean-looking dude. I mean, this guy is probably a murderer or something. He's just standing in the middle of the crowd, just staring at me, and he goes, he gives me the I'm cutting your throat sign, and I'm just I'm looking at him wait, what do you want me to do?
Machete don't stop music.
So fast forward 9 hours later, it's 7:30 in the morning, and this dude runs up to me, and he's shaking my hand, and he's like, oh, thank you very much. We don't need no other DJ. We got you. And I'm just like, oh, thank you for not killing me. Thank you for not stabbing me. So it might have taken me 7 hours, but I converted him from a guy who wants to murder me to a fan. So I mean,
that's crazy. So speaking of being on the road, we're gonna get to your set here because this is an awesome interview. Thank you so much. You guys got to do some type of joke. You got to keep yourself light. Keep things light on the road because it is stressful going from venue to venue. Obviously, what's the best practical joke you've ever played on somebody on the road?
It actually goes back to Oakenfold on tour, and what's funny is a lot of times you get people that are hanging out afterwards, socializing and partying and stuff, and a lot of times there'd be some girls hanging out on the tour bus or whatever or backstage, and maybe they didn't catch my opening set. And I'm kind of a quiet guy. I don't drink. I don't party on the road, and so I'm usually just sitting back in the corner, just kind of doing my own thing and laying low. So sometimes you get these girls that would come up and be like, what do you do? Because obviously I'm there. Obviously I'm part of the crew. I'm just playing it cool, but I'm laid back. And they're like, what do you do? And so I would throw them off. I'd be like, I'm Paul's son. Oh, fuck. So, and I mean, a number of times, and I can only imagine later, when everyone's hanging out and the girls are, hanging out, and they're like, hey, Paul, where'd your son go? And he's like, what are you talking about, my son? You know, and so
my God,
that's my tour practical joke. I think I'm probably getting a little too old to pull that one off, but that's my
God.
go-to joke
That
when
is
I'm
hilarious.
rolling with Paul.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to mention? Anything else you got coming out that we didn't get to?
A ton of stuff. I mean, the I Am Phoenix stuff we're really excited about. I've got a new single coming out on Alter Ego as well with Molly Bancroft on vocals from Tracking Treasure Down fame, and I'm really excited about that record. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff brewing in the studio. There's one specific record I can't tell you about that we are in discussions and finalizing the deal on with a major track with a major label that is owned by a major artist, and I wish I could announce it. I can't even play it yet, but keep an eye out for some big stuff this summer.
Nice.
And just hit me up on Facebook. I mean, I'm always sharing stuff. I'm always sharing bootlegs. I'm always talking about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely, and when you send stuff over to us, we'll pump it out to our ITV fans and crowd and get it out there. So website, Facebook, all of it. Where can people find you?
Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud are the three major ones, and it's all at .com/DJ Kenneth Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Yeah, make sure you go by SoundCloud. I put up some new bootlegs, some mashups that I put up 320 caliber, and they're DJ ready. And I've been making a lot of mashups lately, and I've just been sharing them. So
Nice. Well, thank you again for coming on ITV. We're going to
Thanks for
get you
having
over
me.
to your set. Absolutely. Don't forget to look him up online, DJ everything /DJ Kenneth Thomas or DJKennethThomas.com. Getting in the mix on ITV Live, the DJ sessions. It's Kenneth Thomas. And don't forget to go to our website, ITVNW.com. Register to become an ITV VIP member. Enter to win those free prizes. Without further ado, Kenneth Thomas on ITV Live, the DJ sessions, where the music never stops.